Welcome to Killco. I am Killco, I suppose, and this is my 7 whiskeys for beginners video. Because as someone who has literally lived the experience of being a newbie whiskey person, I wanted to give my opinion or 2 cents or whatever about what I think and recommend is a good starting point, or at least something to try if you're new to whiskey. So here we go. Up first is my personal favorite whiskey right now, and I think it will be forever, but I don't want to say that for sure. Redbreast 12 Cask Strength. Yeah, I recommend the actual Redbreast 12. It's almost identical, and it's easier to get. In my area, it's about $50. Not cheap, but worth every cent. The actual cask strength is about $70 in my area, but also freaking worth it. My absolute favorite. I would recommend Redbreast 12 to anyone, even when people tell me they don't like whiskey. I say, have you ever tried this specific one? And they say, no. And I say, well, if you try that and you still hate whiskey, then you hate whiskey. We got number 2, Connemara. This is a peated Irish whiskey. This one was about, I think it was about 50. Don't quite remember, but if you want to start dabbling in the peat, and many people do when they start getting interested in whiskeys and scotches in particular, I recommend Connemara Peated Irish. Wonderful dram. Great introduction to peat overall, and also since my go-to whiskey is Irish, this was the perfect thing for me. Once I heard about it, I hunted it down like a mad dog, and I found it and I bought it and I love it. Number 3. This is a Japanese whiskey, and this is one that I like so much I don't want to open it. It's one of the few bottles I have that I've just had sitting, waiting for a reason to open it. I'm probably going to do a review on it. That'll give me the excuse to open it. But this is, there you go. Unique whiskey from the barrel. This is actually harder to get. I think this was close to $60 or $70 when I bought it. Might be more now. 51.4%, I think. Or is that the proof? I don't know. Anyway, good stuff. Delicious. At my first introduction into Japanese whiskey was this bottle right here, and oh my goodness. Since I already liked Irish, and this is like very similar. The Japanese style is, I say, leans towards Irish, but it also leans to Scotch. It's almost like a nice go-between because of just how it developed. Really, if you know anything about the history of Japanese whiskey, it's amazing how that happened. Like when one guy went to Scotland and was like, "Hey, whiskey's awesome," brought it back over to Japan, and him and one other guy did their own thing, and boom, Japanese whiskey was born. Crazy. I've lost count. 5? 5. 5? Sure. This is one of my personal favorites as well. Glenfiddich, Fire and Cane. Specifically Fire and Cane. I like some Glenfiddich, but this one in particular is a favorite of mine. This is also kind of peaty, but also pretty sweet. It was done in sweet rum casks. So it's got a peatiness, a smokiness, but also this wonderful sweetness that just ties it all together. Great if you're also getting into peat. And I'm not a peat head by any means, but I do have those times when I'm like, you know what, I want a scotch, or I want something with a little, oomph to it, and that is one of them. Another good go-between whiskey is Highland Park 12. This one is actually highly recommended by all the whiskey somm kind of people and review people I've been looking at, is that this is something magical. It's called Viking Honor. Not too expensive, so not a crazy price range. Not my favorite, but certainly one that I enjoy. I put it in the category of scotches like Johnny Walker Black and that kind of thing. You could also try that one as well. But this one came with many, many happy reviews, and I do enjoy it from time to time. It's a nice change of pace from my calm and comforting Irish or bourbons that I typically drink. It's a good change of pace, and I would also recommend this as something to try before you try these next two coming up. So, here we go. Now these last two, I'm going to put in here abbreviation or a recommendation or something. I'm going to say, if you want to get your socks knocked off and you really want to dive into peat, try these. Preferably both at the same time, if you can. And I'm going to bring them both up at the same time, because if I don't, I'm going to be crucified by the cult. I consider them both cults at this point. If you know anything about the tribe, this will all make sense. If you don't, I recommend going to the Whiskey Bowl channel and looking up their videos about these two whiskeys in particular. They've done quite a few. Bam! Laphroaig and Ardbeg. These are standard if you want to get into peat. I recommend Laphroaig Lore, particularly because I bought this one from my father. It's empty now. But this was actually a wonderful introduction to Laphroaig, and it was highly recommended by Daniel on the Whiskey Vault, so I had to try it, which I did. Bought it from my father as a gift. He loves Laphroaig, he loves the peaty stuff, so we had this kind of go-between. Me trying to find stuff he might like, me trying to also find stuff I will like, and then we share the experience, which is why I have so many kind of mildly peated stuffs. But Lore in particular was a wonderful experience, since Laphroaig itself can be really aggressive and not pleasant for me. But this, I think of it as, I like to use a story or a memory in a way to describe whiskeys rather than taste and smell. This one is kind of like you're on a boat in a swampland. It's early in the morning, the sun's just coming up, and it's nice and crisp and cool, and you got that kind of eerie quiet of the morning going on. That is the feel of what Laphroaig Lore is to me. Just kind of this beautiful, haunting, slightly scary, slightly strange, weird smelling, but still very beautiful experience, I guess is the best way to put it. So that's Laphroaig Lore. This one, now, I can't recommend this one because I haven't tried it yet. I bought it, and I'm going to do a review at some point. Maybe if more people start paying attention, I'll do it, because it's kind of divisive when you have Ardbeg and Laphroaig. This one is actually Ardbeg Ugadal, or Ugadal, however it's actually pronounced. And I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm looking forward to trying it, and I don't particularly like peated stuff, and I know Ardbeg and Laphroaig specifically are kind of crazy. But I'm hoping this gives me a Lore-esque experience, or maybe something even better. Don't know yet. But just Ardbeg in general, I would also recommend trying if you want to get into peated whiskeys in particular. And that's it. My 7 whiskeys for beginners. From kind of the easiest to go with to the more crazy peated stuff. So, like, subscribe, and hang around with me on in the Killco channel. I'll be doing more of this kind of thing in the future. I don't have a drink with me, but I can't use the vault toast because that'd be weird. So I'll just say, stay magnificent, you bastards.